Hi, you are now listening to an episode of What is Your Story by Noisy Podcast. Enjoy!
Hi, my name is Eseosa, and this is my story. Today I'll be sharing about friendship, and I'll be highlighting certain factors that really affect friendship, in the sense that these factors lead to the breakdown of friendships. And they only lead that way because when they started off, enough attention was not paid to it, right? So I'm going to start off with my life story as an example. I had a friend in 100 level, right? I'm a lawyer, and this friend of mine was a very cool guy. He was the best in sports, in football. I play football. And everybody liked him in the sense that he was a cool guy, he knew how to dress and all of those things. So I was a class rep at the time, and we're staying in the same hostel. Over time, we got very close that my parents knew him, and they even added him to our feeding schedule. So when my mom is coming to the hostel to bring stuff for me, she said, "Oh, give it to my son, the one that I did not give birth to naturally, but it's my son," right? So we're that close. We stayed in the same bed often, read together, played ball together, and we just grew like that. But things started happening, and I did not take notice of them. So in 200 level, I had celebrated my birthday, and he was the first person to get an invite. He came to my house, we went to the venue, we did everything together, took pictures. Really one of the best times of my life in uni. Because being class rep, it was a lot, but he was like my escape plan, right? So he would always show up for my birthday, but by the time we were in 400 level, I realized that I had never attended his birthday because he had never invited me for his birthday. I didn't know he was doing birthdays up until 400 level, where a classmate of mine was like, how far? I didn't see you in this person's birthday. And being his friend, I just had to make excuse on the go. And I'm like, oh, I wasn't feeling too well. But truth be told, I didn't even know he was doing birthday. I just wished Baba happy birthday on status, called him. I called him that morning. He didn't say anything. And then after the weekend, I asked him, bro, why did you not invite me for your birthday party? And he goes, he doesn't think it was my setting because they were alcohol, babes were there. I'm like, even if it's not my setting, you are my friend, like best friend, right? So even if I'm not going to stay all the way, but give me the option to pay the sacrifice. Present me, don't say no for me without asking me the question. And I was like, oh, sorry. But this has been going on since 200 level. 300 level, 400 level, and in final year, the same thing happened. So this is a friendship of 9 years. Guess what? I've attended his birthday just once since I met this guy in my life, and that was last year, right? Surprising. So, he has been to all my birthdays except I think 2023, and 2024, because I had observed the pattern to say, if you're not inviting me for your birthdays, there's no reason why you should be in my birthday, because friendship is mutual, right? So years go by, and we went to law school. We got the same law school. Our rooms were 2 rooms apart, but at this time I told myself that I'm not getting the energy I think I deserve in this friendship, because I checked the dictionary meaning of friendship, and it says a bond and connection that is mutual. So sometimes mutual does not always mean equal, but most times it means equal. So if I'm giving you 100%, you should be giving me nothing less than 98%, right? Or 100 even. And so I didn't think I was getting a 50 at the time. And maybe because I didn't address certain issues, so it was just bottling up, right? Birthdays it looks like small issue. Oh, this guy didn't invite me for birthday, but it had bottled up for 4 years or 5 years, right? And it now became a real issue that I felt like I was sidelined. So I was going on with, this is my best friend, but perhaps I wasn't his best friend. Yeah, because you can't tell me that your best friend is not present for your birthday, not the planning, not the occasion. So that happened, and then after we parted for 2 years or a year before law school, we're staying 2 rooms apart. I wouldn't go to his room, or I would go to his room and greet the other guys there, but I wouldn't say hi to him. he would try to pitch into the conversation, but I wouldn't pay attention to his comment really. And that happened for a long time. I could pass him without noticing that somebody passed that year, because it was a very crazy year for me. And went on like that. And then my friends from uni that knew how close we were. So when they were giving friendship of the year, it was both of us. So they were very concerned. How far you are in this law school? This guy is in this law school. What's your problem? What's the issue that you guys cannot resolve? Did you fight over a woman? Which we did not, right? So one day he walked up to me to say, "Oh, you want to discuss?" A mutual friend of ours had died, right? So that became an opening, a leveling ground, right? I respect that you are mourning. I too were mourning. So he came to me and said, "Oh, let's talk." I said, "Okay, I'm here for it." And then he started talking. But to be very honest, I wasn't there mentally. I just wanted him to talk and go because I was not ready for it. But I was seeing a girl at that time, right? And the girl one day asked me a question to say that, if something happens to you now, who can I call that is not your family? Because I was because of the friendship that had broken down, I was not available to friendships. I didn't want to say friend. I didn't want to have a friend. I just thought that I could do life not on my own, but with minimal vulnerability, right? So she was like, she sees me around many people, but there's nobody she can tie me to say, okay, if this guy can get him for me and all that I should go back to my friendship, because she knew about it. And when a girl is telling you something about time, so I considered, and then I entertained the conversation. And he started talking about how he knew he messed up, that he was very opinionated in the sense that he's a year older than I am, right? So in the sense that he felt like he has seen more things, and I was just being very judgmental, but then he forgot that people are people. And we can always like the same thing, but at least we can disagree to agree, right? It doesn't always have to be a fight. So I said, okay. So he started coming over time, came to my room often, joked around, and assumed the boundaries that we had when we were best friends. But in my head, I was like, this is somebody going under review. This is not my best friend, right? So you do not have access to my locker. You don't have access to my provisions. But he came with that assumption, because that's what we were doing in uni. Uni, we were literally on the same bed, the same locker. What is mine is his, and what is his is mine. So he would come, open my locker, take my mini chin chin, which I really loved at the time. I'm like, that's not up for sharing. So I told my roommates in law school then that if this guy comes into the room and I'm not around, tell him that he cannot open my locker, because I didn't really used to padlock. So tell him that he cannot, or help me padlock it and just keep the key somewhere. So I placed that restriction there, so that you earn the right. Literally, in friendship, there are certain rights you will earn. Yeah, it doesn't just go. And then he noticed that one day he came to tell me that, oh, did I tell my roommates to pursue him out of the room? I'm like, no, nobody's chasing you out. I'm just saying that I lied though. I told him that, oh, my stuff were missing, and I felt like somebody was stealing around, and the other room caught a thief, so I wanted to be more security conscious. So I just said that when you come around, they should call me, right, if I'm not in the room. I'm like, okay, that the way my roommate spoke to him wasn't very pleasant. I'm like, sorry, right? And we went on from there. So one day we did a party in law school, and we all went, and I saw him smoking. Yeah? And I'm like, I mean, other guys were smoking, but it didn't strike me as odd or weird. But when I saw him, I felt a certain way that the current state of this guy is not who I became a friend with. It's just like when you're in love, you find out your partner evolves. So the person you started off dating may not be the person 2 years into the relationship, because life has happened. So I'm like, the guy that was my best friend that I'm trying to reconnect with is not this guy that is puffing smoke through his nose. It cannot be, right? And this is not me being judgmental. This is not me saying stop smoking if you can, but this is not me saying you should stop smoking. It's just because when I'm friends with you, when I'm down with you, I am vulnerable, so I can pick your habits as you can pick mine. So I don't want to find myself that one day and I say, oh, pass me that blunt. I don't want to test myself. I don't want to get there, right? So I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do this. This is a no for me. And we had a conversation around it, and he was like, oh, that he knows I will smoke, that I should just give it time. That I'm like, you thinking that you know I will smoke because you are smoking is because of the rights you earned once. And that is clear to show you that when you are with somebody for so long, they know they can influence you. So you have to actually be active in your friendship, in what you are influencing and what you are being influenced on. So for him to make that comment, thinking about it now, it means that he knew that there are times he had influenced me on certain things. There are days that I had gone to places that I on my own would not have gone just because he was going. So he was saying that from a point of power to say that give it time, he will smoke. I'm like, sorry. Okay, since you are so sure that I will smoke and I'm not so sure, let me not test my strengths. So I can't be our friendship cannot be on a very close proximity. Let's just keep it as my guy, right? And so that was it for years. There were very silent factors in the friendship that we had not addressed. In 2 years after law school, he calls me one day. He had broken up with his girlfriend. His girlfriend called me and was lamenting, saying this, that. I said some things I shouldn't have said, to be very honest, right? Because I was also upset. So I was just supporting her anger and say, okay, so my point was this. I knew they were going to come back somehow, or I knew that the girl was going to speak to him about what I said, because they've been dating for like 5 years, 6 years, long relationship. But I was so upset that I wanted her to leave to hurt him. And I'm like, oh, you escaped a bomb, this and that. And this was my best friend. And it was such a petty thing to do because little and salient factors were not addressed. So obviously the girl went back to tell him, and then he had the conversation with a lot of guys and they badmouthed me, which is fine. And then he called me to say, you know what? Or I called because I had a dream about him. I called and said, okay, let's hang out, let's talk. So we went out together, and now we are full-blown lawyers that Lagos is dealing with, right? We are having to haggle with traffic, doing all of these things, paying bills and all of that. I'm like, okay, we are men now, let's talk. What is the issue? And it was like that our friendship looks like relationship, right? So it's too emotional for him. There you go. But men are not emotional beings. Do you understand? So sometimes guys think that, oh, we can rough this thing, let's rough this thing, forget this is not issue. But it's bed-evening the whole thing, right? So like it looks like a relationship and it's such a drag whenever I want to talk about it. So it's just really silent. I'm like, okay, when you have a problem with your babe.
Are you enjoying the episode so far? If you love stories that make you feel at home, check out our anthology, A Man and a Woman and Other Stories. You can get a copy of this book through the link in our description box below or at Roving Heights Bookstore. Now let's get back to the episode.
Do you keep quiet or do you speak about it? I know men like to keep quiet. I know, I like to keep quiet. But the truth is that you will never resolve the issue by keeping quiet. Even if the baby is ranting, sometimes you now have to address the issue a day later, 2 days later, wherever time works for you in your relationship. So I'm like, but we have left this thing for 4 years and you still want to keep quiet. It's as good as kissing the friendship goodbye. So we went out and then we said, okay, what is the issue? I'm like, the first issue is that you assume that I'm judging you because of your vices. So now let's speak into various friendship. Sometimes when two friends who do not have similar moral standing, right, are together, let's say the bad one. The bad one tends to think that the good one, in quotes, is judging him without actually having a conversation to say, how do you feel about me doing this thing? Do you understand? So the bad one is just, oh, he thinks it's all good. But you are friends. When it's now a middle level moral activity, both of you will hang out and you bond. But when you are doing your high-handedness thing, he just keeps quiet. He has never reprimanded you. He has never really called you out on it. He has never shouted at you or spoken to you in a demeaning manner. But you just assume that because he's not doing it, he is judging you. It's actually not true. He could just be a cool guy who wants you to be chilled, and when you are done with your excesses, you just come back home. Like there are some women who get married to drunks, right? To drunk. The guy drinks out. The woman doesn't say anything. You come back. So long as you don't kill my children for me, just be on your own. But when the guy is drunk, he now sees the woman say as an enemy because the woman is not drinking with him. Do you understand? You're like, oh, let's be drunk together, or let's be evil together, basically. And I'm like, you can't assume that for me. And that's the problem in friendship: expectations and assumption. If you have an expectation, say it. If you're assuming something, say it. Then there will be clarity. So you can't assume that I'm judging you for doing this or for doing that when I have never verbally judged you, or even with my actions. The fact that I don't show up to these things is just to protect my own morals, right? And then there is also the fact that he wants us to share vices. I'm not saying this as a bad thing, but sin loves company, right? So if you arm robber will literally go to arm robber, cultists will go to cultists. Pastors, they have pastors forum. Do you understand? So pastors will go to pastors, and that's it. Bankers, if you're a banker, most of your friends literally may be bankers, right? And he felt that our friendship would be stronger if I do these things. Now, I have not asked you to stop doing your own, but you want me to start doing your own. And that's a weird compromise, right? And I'm like, no. I actually will not. I will not move from point A to point B just because you're in point B. I will need a reason to move to point B. And if I'm saying point B is not what I was brought up with, it's not what I'm comfortable with, so be it. The friendship doesn't need to end. It's just when you are smoking, for example, you're smoking with your smokers, your co-smokers. That's fine, chain of smokers. It's okay. And when I'm doing my own thing, I have my own vices. Right? I'm not putting myself out there as the most righteous. I have my own vices. But when I'm doing them and it's not something that you're comfortable with, I don't need to call you to join me or to drop yours and join mine. And so we had that lengthy conversation. So in your friendship, you need to know that two opposite people can be friends, or two people who are friends can have opposite likes and dislikes. And it's okay. It doesn't have to end the friendship. Yeah. So we spoke about that. Also spoke about the fact that boundaries. I like to speak about everything. I like the fact that, if you're coming to my room and you want to pick my shoe, you say, Eseosa, can I have your shoe? I will not say no if we are using the same shoe size, right? Which at the time we wear. I will not say no. But it's just letting me have a register of the things that is present in my house at the time. So that one day I will not go and plan to wear that shoe and then I can't find it. And I have no recollection of the fact that I gave it out. And then some other day I find it in your house. It's not going to be cool. But guys being guys, you can come up to my wardrobe, take this shirt and move on. And then you come back, you don't even return the shirt. You just flip it around and say, we'll be guys now, we'll go rougher. It's not me. I'm not saying that is wrong. I'm not saying that is right. I'm just saying it's not for me, right? There are guys that have had decades of friendship on that level and they are still doing well, and there are guys but I'm not that guy, basically. So I would like to hear you say, please, can I have this? And I say, sure, why not? Of course. Why are you even asking? But at least you ask, right? So this brings me to another point where I have a friend. Whenever I go to his house, I'm like, can I use your restroom? Or can I sit on your bed? Or can I wear this your shirt or sweater? And he's like, why are you behaving like a baby? Why are you asking me? If you like, don't use it now. And like, fair. Until the day you have something that I should not touch, and then I touch it based off on the assumed authority you've given me or access you've given me, you get upset. And then, funny thing about guys, they may not even speak about it. They will actually not speak about it. And then when the thing's all blown for like 5 years, 6 years, now so you remember there was one time you even came to my house, you took the shirt that my mom gave for me. That was the last shirt my mom bought for me before she died. I did not know. Prior to that time, you were allowing me to take everything. So there was no exception on the shirt when I entered your wardrobe. So I just did not know. But that thing had led to the derogation of that friendship for years, a shirt. And this thing is not just an example. It happens for real, right? Because boundaries are not expressly set in friendship. They are assumed, which is very wrong. So if you're someone that likes to be in charge and control of your space, you tell your friends that, sorry, I'm not comfortable with you doing that, but you can do this. Like, For example, my house, if you come into my house, the first thing you have to do is not to step with your slippers into my rug. I don't know where you're coming from. I don't even know where the slippers have been. I don't really care. Shall just use your bare leg and enter the rug is fluffy enough for you, right? So no damage. But when you do, I'll be so quick to tell you, oh, can you kindly take your slippers outside? Or I can walk you out. Because if you're even coming to my house, I would have told you ahead of time. And my friends are I don't have new friends every day, so they all already know. So if one by mistake enters my rug with their slippers, I just say, it's time to go home because you have forgotten the rules here, right? So you need to put out your expectation clear out there in your friendships. You shouldn't assume for people, they shouldn't also assume for you. And when you think that your friend is assuming for you, bring up the conversation, right? So that happened and we spoke about it. I think it was like a 4-hour conversation. You just see two men talking for 4 hours. You think it's one business deal. We're talking about friendships that had gone down the drain, but it was too solid to let go, right? We had let go at different times, but we always reroute back to each other. There are some friendships that are divinely orchestrated. I can take it for that, right? There are friends that have not been the best to them, but they've stayed because God wants us to be friends, or the universe just allows it for us to be friends. So this kind of friendship, you don't have it every day, right? You don't have it every day, and you must do everything that you can to keep them. So fights will happen, but these factors can reduce the number of fights and the depth of the fights, right? If they are treated in time. So we also spoke about growth pace. So if you give birth to a twin today, at different times they will be in different mental space, right? You find out that one can be more athletic, the other one is more educational or more academic. You find out that one is a better artist in terms of drawing, the other one just writes better or reads better. They are different and unique in their own nature, regardless of their similar features, right? That is to say that sometimes where two friends have been together, they also assume your headspace. They assume that, the type of music I like 2013 is the same type of music I would like in 2025. I don't see how that's possible, really. Yeah. So sometimes you think that, I'm a Wizkid fan. That this guy was a Wizkid fan in 2010, so he's still Wizkid. But you don't know, perhaps he has sports into being 30 BG, right? So you can't assume their headspace, because when you do that, you've created a gulf between both parties. Yeah. So this happened in my own friendship, where at the time I was just very into my space. In school, I used to be in like public space. I was class rep, I was chief justice of the SUG court, I was in class fund, that's the Christian Law Fellowship, I was the PRO at the time, I was in a lot of committees, I was that outside guy, right? And after that, because of everything that happened in uni, I just withdrew back to myself. So whenever you are calling a public position, you won't find me there. I was hiding. So somebody would be wrong to assume that, I want to contest for an election or I want to contest for a position in that year, because that's not my mental space anymore, right? So it happened between me and my friend, and he just assumed that, I would like certain things because in the past I liked them. I'm like, no, I've grown past that. So when we had that conversation, we agreed to a point that we understood the fact that I did not show enough grace to him, in the sense that, I grew past that, or I'd grown past that, right? I did not show enough grace to say, okay, let me wait. Not necessarily slow down myself, but slow down my expectation, right? So let me wait for this guy. He's not here yet. And whether it takes him 5 years or not to be here, it's his life, right? Friendship is not Samisi twin. We don't fuse our future together, right? So he's on a different path. So whether it takes him 10, 25 years or whatever to get there, one thing that you can do as a fast-paced growth guy is to show grace in your expectation. You can be doing your thing, achieving your goals, right? While he's still faffing around, right? But you show grace that whenever he catches up with you, that expectation can come back and you guys can fuse together. What the other party should also do is to not hate him for growing too fast. Right? I know of a senior colleague who had it in life, right? Had it going well for him. And then his own close friend had it going well, but not as good. So he reached out to this friend to say, oh, I got this offer somewhere, right? I want to leave. And what the guy did was say, no, don't leave. You get a better offer. But what I'll do for you is pay you the difference in salary. So if these guys were offering you, let's say 900K, and you are earning 600K, but I believe that you are worth 1.5, stay there, earn your 600K. I'll be adding 300K to your salary every month till you get a 1.5 job. That is grace. So they both understand themselves. Oh, I think you are worth this. Don't worry, chill. But in order not to suffer for waiting, for be patient, take this. So the same thing can be done in friendship. You do your thing, faff around, play around. I'm not going to judge you for it. When you need help, I'll lend my help to you. Then when you are now up there and we are together, we take the friendship from where we stopped. So yeah, so that's about growth pace. So lastly, what I also want to speak about is not fixing the trauma of a previous friendship in your next friendship. So after I was done with uni and I had a whole lot of episodes, right, with this my friend, because I, for one, I thought that he was doing what we call aesthetic friendship. You're in Lagos here. Some people, you do not fit their profile on IG. So when everything is down and rough, you guys are bad. So you are more like Sakpa friend, right? So when everything is rough, you guys are roughing together. You have plans. Okay, when life is good, when life is this. When they hit money or everywhere is okay for them a bit, they have a set of friends that they go out with. And when they are doing their end of year Thanksgiving, I want to thank my friend. You purposely go through their status to check, and you will not see your name. And it will hurt you so bad that you bleed. What's necessary here is that you don't bleed on the next friendship. If that thing hurts you, like we established earlier in this podcast session, speak on it. Bro, why is my name not? See, it's not petty. It's not being petty. I think that I played a valuable role in your life this year. You are appreciating people which I know did not do as much or were not willing to do as much on your status. And I'm not there. What am I? Why am I behind the scene? Why I'm not a curtain guy. I'm not the one drawing the scene for you. I am actively in your life, and I think you should actively appreciate me for it. So it's just calling out, because some people sometimes they are forgetful, not unnecessarily ungrateful. They are just forgetful because they only see what's flashing, right? So guys that take you out to club, boat cruise, all of those things, you upload them because it's aesthetically pleasing. But when life is in the mud, which I think is the most vulnerable time, they are nowhere to be found. I'm the guy you come back crashing to, and then I'm nowhere in your status or anything, right? So I think if you feel hurt about that, address it. If you don't, leave it, right? So, but if you do not think that every friendship will be like that. When I left uni and I was tired of friendships, I go into law school, and I think I made the worst mistake of my life. Because I was hurt from a friendship, I did not make as many friends I ordinarily should have made in law school. Because law school brings you with a whole lot of person, more than 1,000 people in a class from different backgrounds, rich people's friends, and rich people's children, poor people's children, middle class, everybody, they are there. If you make a friend in law school, it most probably will last for the next 7 years and can also affect the trajectory of your career because you don't know who's who, right? So do not bleed on other people. I know there's a saying that says hurts people, but healed people also heal people, right? So when you're hurt in a friendship, take a step back. What you need is not a new friendship. It's a healed version of yourself to now have a healed and better friendship. So I think that friendship is a lifetime journey. Do not be quick to end it. It's like having a child. You have to go through all the phase of life with that child, from his crawling to his learning to walk, to his learning to run, to his arrogant self, because when he clocks 14, 13, 15, he thinks he's a big boy, he knows everything. You can't give up, you can't bail at that time. And then there's a clock that comes back to adulthood, where he's not very appreciative of every little step, every little action and inaction that you took or did not take for him. And I think that is my story, and I hope it helps somebody out there. Thank you.
We hope that you enjoyed listening to this episode of What is Your Story by Noisy Podcast. If you would like to be a guest on this show, click on the link in the description box below. Don't forget to share, leave a comment, and like this episode. Also follow us on social media at Noisy Streets. Okay, see you same time next week. Bye.